Hey everybody, this is Cyrus, and welcome to Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics, kind of in a different location this time, in Jodhpur, India, the so-called Blue City. So the whole city is this kind of pastel blue-colored shade that dates back to when this was a kingdom here in the middle of India. So a really cool place, and I guess this is a good spot to talk a little bit about a subject that I want to hit on a bit, which is the idea that when we die, we become these all-knowing sort of supreme entities. I don't know if I've touched on this in the past, but actually I had one of the contributors on Afterlife Topics, my friend Edipon, brought this subject up, and it was a good point because it was in relation to an individual who passed away a few days ago named Stanton Friedman. Now he was a probably the most respected UFO researcher in the world, and lived a long life. Passed away at age 84, and upon his death, many people were saying, I guess Stanton finally has all of the answers about the subject of extraterrestrials, and so finally it's all revealed to him. It's kind of common stuff we hear when people pass away, that some variation of all of the answers to their life is now finally revealed to them. And the thing is, I'm a little bit skeptical of this. And while I do think that, when we talk about like the Akashic and subjects like that, it seems like there is a possibility to be able to access a kind of universal database. What I'm not so sure is that this is something that happens immediately or happens without any caveats, or that people immediately become these all-knowing entities. Oh, by the way, if you like this video, if you like this subject, please hit that subscribe button. Help keep this channel going. You can punch that notification bell. That's just as important. This is Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics, where we do talk about this kind of stuff, and occasionally, rarely, I'll be reporting from an exotic location like where we are today. Anyway, so to continue, because there is a kind of deeper philosophical concept here that is worth talking about, that I think it's worth talking about in this video, which is the idea is, do we want to become all-knowing? Like, do we want to know all the answers? Kind of like, on the same token, do we want to become godlike or omnipotent or omniscient? And I would argue that, like many subjects in this area, there is a bit of a schism between what we think we want and kind of how souls actually operate, which is usually from a basis of kind of dumbing yourself down enough to be able to experience and explore things. Like, will you be able to explore crazy locations like out here in India if you're just a godlike entity who can, go anywhere in a split second and have divine powers, where you can't really relate to and hang out with locals and explore places, can you? You're kind of pigeonholed into one mode of higher consciousness, higher existence, and I don't think that this is how a lot of entities operate or want to operate. So there's a bit of a philosophical issue. Another issue comes down to a kind of a cosmic boredom, right? And so I've brought this up before as well. And so we learned from 11 near-death experiences that it's not necessarily the prerogative of every soul to just go back to, quote, source consciousness. Even if we originally came from that mode of existence, we have evolved, or rather we have purposefully decided to evolve our individual selves or individual consciousness. And if we wanted just to go back and climb back into the cosmic womb, then it kind of defeats that purpose, doesn't it? Well, the same thing can be said about this subject as well. So, do we want to become all-knowing? And I would argue that in the process of becoming all-knowing, then we would actually be taking away from many opportunities that we might have. So now let's direct that back to what we know from communications with the other side, when we talk about spirit communication. The big takeaway point is that in all of my experience researching this subject, doing astral experiences where I've communicated with the other side, and where I've researched many years of communication dating back to Emanuel Swedenborg, there is no evidence to suggest that people who pass away are these all-knowing entities. To the contrary, I think that the case can be made that a lot of communications are with very ignorant entities. Sometimes I think with opinions and ideas and concepts just as controversial as the ones that we hold here in this world. So far from being omniscient, a lot of times they resort to theories and concepts and they don't know a lot of things that we'd expect them to know. And sometimes almost as if satiating their egos. I've noticed in like spirit communication an attempt to pretend that they know more than they really do because it's expected of them to be all-knowing. And this also brings up the whole issue of egotistical spirit communication, which is something that, again, you'll see throughout the ages of entities claiming to know a lot more than they really do, and then maybe doing that because they like the power, they like the sense of purpose, or they want to accumulate followers. Whatever the case might be, it would seem that when we become a resident of the astral side, which is a pretty normal thing because it's going to happen to all of us, and I reckon there's an astral version of Jodhpur, India behind me, where it's probably the 700, 800, 900 year history of this town is probably still very much alive. And that's the amazing thing about this subject, is the concept that almost anywhere you go, it's still very much alive in the so-called spirit world, which I think is, for people who love history, it's an amazing concept. But it wouldn't be much fun. It wouldn't be very interesting if everybody on that side had all-knowing knowledge, would it? And some might even argue, and this is a controversial position, that on the astral side, because the reports it can look and feel so similar to this side, including a physical or pseudo-physical body, that we still have some kind of a brain mechanism that is filtering knowledge that prevents us from just absorbing everything and becoming gods. Because if we all were, there wouldn't be a civilization to speak of on that side, would there? Because we'd all have omniscient godlike powers. So then, if you are on that side, if you are somebody like the late Stanton Friedman, how do you get the answers? And the answer to that comes down to how we get answers here. And I think on that side, many more answers are available. And so you have the opportunity to be able to find those answers that you seek. Although it doesn't necessarily mean that they have the permission to be able to share those answers with us, because then we go into issues of free will and what is and is not allowed for them to do. And things that they cannot do include just like things that an extraterrestrial wouldn't be able to do, share secrets of technology and things that interrupt our progression as a civilization. So even if an entity did get those answers, unfortunately I wouldn't suspect that we'd be able to get those answers from them, whether it's through a seance or any other astral travel or any other means of communication with the beyond. Well, that's it for this video. Hope you like the location, hope you like the subject. Let me know what you think in the comments, and head to afterlifetopics.com if you want to support this work. If you like these subjects, want to get involved, then you can join the Facebook group. If you want to get more involved and join classes or interact with me directly and support this area of work, then I encourage you to please become a patron, and that's at patreon.com/afterlifetopics. Any help in that area is greatly appreciated. Alright, well, this is Cyrus. I'll catch you guys on the next video, hopefully coming out soon, especially because in this hotel I have really good internet. Okay, catch you next time.